This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Niranjan Abesundara. Defence Secretary said the Kothalawala Defence University Act will not influence any other university. All websites active in the country will be registered. Government plans to establish a modern agricultural and high technology university with the support of the Chinese government. Teacher trade unions organized a protest campaign in front of the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo today. Mahasangha commends the government decision to stop importing chemical fertilizer. In world news, China rejects WHO plan for second phase of virus origin probe. Vice-Chancellor of the Kothalawala Defence University, Major General Milinda Piri said, Kothalawala Defence University bill cannot influence any other university. He said, aim is to make it an international level university. Vice-Chancellor Major General Milinda Piri was speaking during a media briefing today on the Kothalawala Defence University Act. Taking part in the media briefing, Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunrapta said students are enrolled at the university based only on the advanced level Z score. About 6,000 students are following studies at the university. It conducts medical, engineering, law and other degree programs. Steps have been taken to maintain discipline among the students. Academic activities commence and end at the due time. Major General Kamal Gunrapta said that all activities are being done according to international policies. Minister of Mass Media, K. Rambakwala, said that all websites active in the country will be registered under the ministry. Accordingly, Press Council Act will be amended to cover all media channels. The minister further said the educational program will be broadcast through the state media channels for the benefit of the school children. The government has planned to establish a modern agricultural and high technology university with the support of the Chinese government. Sri Lanka Embassy in China announced that the Chinese leaders have already expressed willingness to set up this university in Sri Lanka. A special discussion in this connection was held between Sri Lankan ambassador to China, Dr. Pandita Kohana, and authorities at the Wuhan University. Our correspondents say there was a heavy traffic congestion near the Presidential Secretariat and other areas in Colombo Fort today due to the protest campaign organized by the teacher trade unions. They agitated several demands, including rectifying their salary anomalies. Secretary of the Lanka Teachers Union, Joseph Stalin, said if the government does not immediately solve their problem, they will take stern action in the future. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Puridana Education Services Union, Vasanta Hadapangoda, said some trade unions are attempting to disrupt the government through protest campaigns, while the government is working hard to control the spread of the COVID pandemic. She requested teachers not to be misled by unscrupulous trade union leaders. She expressed confidence the government would provide solutions for the problems of the teachers and principals without delay. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Call 0718 800 999.
The Mahasangha commends the government's decision to stop importing chemical fertilizer. Educationist Venerable Kirioruwe Gunanandathero said suspending the import of agrochemicals is a timely need as agrochemicals have caused renal diseases among the farmers. Dathero pointed out the government could carry out this program without being disrupted by the opposition elements. The Minister of Health says 1,128 persons have tested positive for the coronavirus today. This brings the total number of infections confirmed in the country thus far to 290,705. According to official data, more than 22,000 infected patients are currently under medical care. Well, that ends local news.
Now, get your EPF loan information and service details via SMS from HDFC Bank. Wherever you are, being a state and private sector employee, to obtain EPF loan information and service details, just send a SMS mentioning EPF space, name and region to 0718 800 999. HDFC Bank, the bank for your home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana has said that Sri Lanka has received 2 million more doses of Sinopharm vaccine from China today. The new batch of vaccine purchased by the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation brings the total amount of Sinopharm jabs received by Sri Lanka to 9.1 million. According to the State Ministry, 400,000 of these coronavirus jabs will be rolled out in the Kurunegala district. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. Army Commander General Chandra Silva has warned there is a possibility of an emerging wedding cluster if the public do not adhere to health guidelines when hosting weddings. The Health Ministry is allowed to conduct weddings with a maximum of 150 participants or 25% seating capacity. However, it is reported, especially in the areas out of the Western Province, weddings were hosted exceeding that capacity. The commander said that the situation would be dangerous if people misused the advice. He said public should act in a responsible manner, especially during the upcoming long weekend. That came to in Watchlight. On to world news. China rejects WHO plan for second phase of virus origin probe. Argentina introduces a new ID card for non-binary people. NASA Mars rover prepares to drill first rock sample. China has rejected terms proposed by the World Health Organization to further investigate the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. WHO head Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus called on China to be more cooperative about the early stages of the outbreak, including the audits of laboratories. Yang Zixin, Deputy Health Minister, said it showed disrespect for common sense and arrogance towards science. He said the plan was politicized and that China could not accept it. Argentina has unveiled a new national identity system for people who identify as non-binary. Under national law, Argentinians have the right to identify themselves as gender neutral. But this has not been reflected in passports and national documents of identity. And residents have only been able to select a male or female. To change this, anyone applying for the new ID document can now select X for their gender. U.S. Space Agency's Perseverance rover is getting ready to take its first sample of Mars rock. The core, about 3 the size of a finger, will be packaged in a sealed tube for eventual return to Earth. Scientists say their best chance of determining whether Mars ever hosted life is to study its surface materials in sophisticated home laboratories. Perseverance landed on the red planet in February in a 45-kilometer wide crater called Jezero. And back to the headlines of the world news. China rejects WHO plan for second phase of virus origin probe. Argentina introduces new ID cards for non-binary people. NASA's Mars rover prepares to drill first rock sample. That was world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Development news. A floating solar power plant will be set up in the Devanna reservoir. India will grant loan facilities for this 1.5 megawatt plant. They'll be able to provide daily electricity requirements to the parliament premises. The government is also conducting feasibility studies to set up solar power plants in major reservoirs and irrigation tanks throughout the country. That was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
On to sports news. Andy Murray says he feels good as he prepares to defend his Olympic tennis title in Tokyo, but admits there is an anxiety among the team over COVID-19. Britain won back-to-back gold medals, the London 2012 and Rio 2016, but has twice required hip surgery since and is currently ranked 104th in the world. Murray will open against ninth-seeded Canadian Felix Agusame. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Savings account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
State Minister Janaka Vakkumbara said that a pack of high-quality local spices will be made available for the consumers at a considerable rate of 800 rupees. Turmeric, dried chili, pepper, raw condiments and several other essential spices are included in this pack. Its market value is 1,030 rupees. This low-cost spices pack is available at Saras outlets chain island-wide. That was business news.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Savings account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka's debt office is seeking to raise up to $110 million in bonds of up to 5 years in auction, which will close on July 27th. Auction Sri Lanka development bonds will be for $30 million and could be upsized by another $80 million. Bids could be made for 9 months, 1 year, 8 months, 2 year, 9 months, and 5 years. That is economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Met Department said the showery condition over the southwestern part of the country, particularly in the western slopes of the Central Hills, is expected to enhance to some extent tomorrow. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Heavy showers of 100 millimeters can be expected in Sabaragamuwa province and in the Nuwara district. Fairly heavy showers can be expected in the western province and the Kandy, Galle and Mathura districts. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines of the new Defense Secretary say that Kothalav Defense University Act will not influence any other university. All websites active in the country will be registered. Government plans to establish a modern agricultural and high-technology university with the support of the Chinese government. Teacher trade unions organized a protest campaign in front of the President's Secretariat in Colombo today. Mahasangha commends the government decision to stop importing chemical fertilizer. In world news, China rejects WHO plan for second phase of virus origin probe. That in the news.